Welcome to Own Your Peace. I am your host, Andy Thewison, and I'm excited to dive into this week's episode. But first, a little apology. We will not be talking about Leo energy. As I teased last week, my eyes are going bad. I kind of looked over at my board and I misread the week. So actually, Leo season party is next week, where we'll be diving into how you're meant to shine. This week, we are going to be talking about your North Node. And your North Node is your soul's North Star. You didn't come here for small dreams. You have a cosmic mission. And that North Node will help point you in that direction. My North Node is in Virgo in the 10th house, about having a public persona, about putting myself out there and really establishing ways to create routines and rituals for others and using a very systematic approach of doing so. My South Node is in Pisces in the 4th house, which is all about home and family. So as we go into that, that has been the biggest shift for me. For me, home and family, hanging out, nurturing my family is easy for me. And a lot of times I will hide there. So instead of actually producing things that will build my business and my brand, I will go to my home and my family and just veg and not take systematic directions in the right way. But the more that I focus on the uncomfy of building a brand, putting myself out there, allowing myself to be visible, that's the 10th house, that is where the most growth and evolution has come for me. And as I work with clients, it's the same story. As they detach from that comfy, safe place of their South Node and move towards their soul's mission of that North Node, things unlock, things fall into place. And there is the support that comes when they start to make brave steps and leaps in that direction. So that is really kind of the conversation that this episode is going to revolve around. And I'm so excited to dive into it. So as we're diving into this conversation, I really want you to say, what's the brave thing my soul came to master? And that is the question that will be answered as we go through each of these placements. So keep that in mind. You have a soul's calling card, a soul's mission that you're meant to move into. Let's decode it. Okay. The North Node is really your soul growth, your destiny, your dharma, and where you're meant to become, what role you're meant to step into. Your South Node, as I kind of previewed earlier, is where you've been. It's your past life. It's your early life pattern. It's your default zone. It's where you feel really safe and secure because you mastered it in a past life. It's what you came in here just knowing how to handle and what to take care of. And it's like life's easy where your South Node presides because that's your comfort. That's what you mastered in that past life. It's easy for you. There's not a lot of effort that needs to happen there. So that's where comfort lies. And of course, we all know that growth comes when we step out of our comfort zone into the unknown. And I want you to think about your North Node as the unknown. It is something that you're meant to move into. Your soul is anchoring in this way of being that you're meant to become. It's going to feel like a stretch. It's going to feel awkward at first. It's going to feel like, oh, that's scary. I don't want to do that. That sounds really hard. And it's going to feel like, I don't want to do that. Like, that's not who I am. You're going to feel almost like a disconnect from it. But at the same time, there's a stirring within your soul's knowing that knows that you're meant for more, that you're meant to step into that direction. And that's where your soul rewards come from, is when you take those brave leaps into the unknown. When we step out of this comfort zone that kind of like keeps us in this warm cocoon and we break out of it and we move into this direction of our lives. So that's where this conversation is going to be going. Your South Node is your soul's resume. Your North Node is your soul's mission statement. It's what you're meant to move into. I'm going to go through each of the signs that your North Node would be in. There's only 12 that it could possibly be in. So we'll talk about each of those energies and the energy and vibe that you're meant to embrace. And it might feel a little uncomfortable when you think about those energies. So let's dive in. Okay, so if you have the North Node in Aries, you're meant to step into leadership. You're meant to step into independence and courageous action. You're meant to step into being bold and unapologetically yourself. You are here to become you. Aries energy is very unapologetically itself. It is a little bit more selfish. It is more driven to be its own person and to really stand bravely. I always like to say Aries people are like shoot first, ask questions second. So you're meant to not overthink things. You're meant to really just be a bit more impulsive, but doing so in a way that is calling to you and trusting your soul's mission. You are here to step into leadership. You're not meant to be a follower. You're not meant to be a part of this quiet collective. I always say, and then side tangent here, is there's always going to be an axis with your north and south node. They're going to be exactly apart from each other. So when we look at Aries, if you have your north node in Aries, immediately your south node is going to be in Libra. And Libra is about, let's not make waves. Let's make it about the we, the collective. I want to like help everyone. So that's going to be more comfortable for you, where you're meant to break away from that, I just need to worry about everybody else and make sure everyone's balanced in harmony, and to really kind of bust out of that and make waves in a big way. And then we move to Taurus. Taurus is really, you're here to play in the physical plane. It is all about the physical world when we talk about Taurus. It's about grounding into simplicity and sensuality and stability. So you are here to build stability in your life. You are here to build foundations, and more importantly, in the physical world, whether that's building a foundation of a business, foundation of building something that's lasting, and even building trust and security within yourself and being able to handle the physical world. So that is really what you're meant to move into. And then again, we talk about the south node. So that means your south node on the other side of that axis is Scorpio. So you're really comfortable in the spiritual world. You're comfortable with the depths of the unconscious realms. So you having to like work towards being human and doing the human thing and building a human existence is going to feel a little bit more uncomfortable, because you're more comfortable building in the unknown and the unconscious and diving into the depths of spirituality. So that's where that plays out for you. Then moving into Gemini. If you have a north node in Gemini, you're here to communicate, to share ideas, to be curious and connect in a very much tangible world way. What I mean by that, it is you're learning through school. You're learning through diving into the internet. You're learning through this tangible physical realm. And that is that Gemini energy. You're here to be human and to experience communication in a human way. That's where that Gemini energy is. And then on the other side of it is that Sagittarius energy. So they're the wise sage. Their wisdom doesn't come from traditional education. It comes from higher realms. It comes from knowing and having a deep connection to the etherical and deep ancient wisdom. So you're really kind of moving into understanding this human existence and trusting, building knowledge in this world and in this earthly existence. So you're meant to kind of not shy away from, because obviously you came into this world with an immense amount of knowledge from other realms. Maybe you're taking a really good example here is taking those etherical ancient wisdoms and really grounding them in a practical earthly human way that we can now take action on those things and use them in our existence now. And what we're building as we move into this new world existence that's coming in that we all feel so deeply. Now moving on to Cancer energy. So Cancer energy, this is where you're moving into. So nurturing and feeling deeply and being led with heart and intuition is going to feel a little bit uncomfortable for you. Emotions and being emotionally vulnerable are going to be things that you are moving into and wanting to master. So emotions are going to feel a little foreign to you. Being nurturing is going to feel a little foreign to you. Your South Node's in Capricorn. So for you, it's going to feel a little bit more cozy and comfortable for you to be practical and to, be grounded in things and use logic over heart. So when you can take brave leaps into feeling and emotion and intuition and less into practicality and planning and building, that's where you're going to have the most growth and the most steps in the right direction. And then we move into Leo energy. Your main character energy, if you have your North Node in Leo, this is not going to be comfortable for you. This is not going to be something that feels like you connect to it. You're going to be like, "Ooh, I want to hide. I don't want to really put myself out there. Like I'm not main character energy. I'm here for the collective. I'm just going to mix into the, have these brave, creative ideas in the background." And so that is why that is so important for you. As a Leo, you're here to shine. You're here to create. You're take a joyful, visible space. You are here to be seen in a very real way. Again, that's not going to feel necessarily really safe for you because, again, your South Node's in Aquarius. So you're more wanting to be in the collective and helping people at large and not about you. You're here to have innovation for the collective. That's what you've mastered in past lives. But this time it's all about you, boo. You are here to be the main character in your own life and allow yourself to be seen in a very real way. Okay, now moving on to Virgo in the North Node. So Virgos, this is where you're going to feel a little bit uncomfortable. It's going to feel like a stretch. And this is all about serving, refining, bringing order, healing. These are things that you're moving into. Virgos are very detail oriented. They are here to build something that's tangible. Again, that physical plane is really where they thrive. They are here to bring order to this earthly existence. They are here to create systems that serve. They're here to really see ways of doing it better, to create more efficiencies, creating systems that really help us thrive in this lifetime. So those are areas that are going to feel really out there for you and something that's oh, that's uncomfortable. Because on the flip side of that is Pisces, and Pisces South Node, you're a little fairy. You came in here from living in the etherical realms of what's going to feel safe for you, and your comfort zone is the spiritual world. You're going to feel way more comfortable building spiritual worlds and not having a plan and feeling like you can just float through life and not really grounding anything. You're here to be a dreamer. And the dreams are really here to be mastered, and moving into that Virgo energy is that takes that dream and really rolls up its sleeves and grounds it into the tangible. So, just collectively, we are in a North-South node in Virgo and Pisces right now. So these are the themes that are playing out on the collective level since January. Just a little callback to that. So if you have that North node in Virgo, like myself, we are here to really learn how to not just dream, but how to make those dreams a reality, but through practicality, through making a plan, being very consistent in the way that we do so. That's the mission if you are a North Node Virgo. All right, now moving on to if you have the North Node in Libra. So you are here to cultivate partnerships, to have diplomacy, to have this beautiful drive for balance and beauty and really helping the we. Your South Node is in Aries, which we've already talked about. So that South Node is you are used to being the lone wolf. You're used to doing it alone and being fiery and bold and not wanting to work with other people, where you're meant to kind of leave behind that solo energy and move into working together in partnerships and learning how to be in partnerships instead of just being that lone wolf that does it on their own, burning everything down and doing it by themselves. So you are really here for the we, as opposed to that Aries that's here for the me. So that's what's happening for you. All right, now if you have your North Node in Scorpio, you are here to transform, release control, dive into the mysteries of this world and really dive into the spirituality, dive into deep transformation. And again, the other side of that coin is that Taurus, where you're comfortable in the physical. You're comfortable building things that are seen and that are very tangible and very materialistic even. And it's moving beyond being materialistic into that spiritual plane, a deep transformation. That's the journey you're here to make. See how these are, can be very opposite, but so driven, and they just work together. So as we move on to Sagittarius, If your North Node's in Sagittarius, you are here to move towards ancient wisdom and learning how to step into etherical ancient wisdom and really things that are kind of brought into us from unseen realms. And you're leaving behind that Gemini energy that's very grounded in the physical plane where you're learning and you need book learning. You're here to learn a different kind of knowledge, a different kind of wisdom. So that's where you're meant to grow into. So for you, connecting to the divine and connecting to ancient wisdom is going to feel a little out there for you because you're so used to learning and using your mind and not necessarily that connection and receiving wisdom through the divine. So that's the flip and the switch that you're meant to make in this lifetime. So pay attention to when you just receive information and you are finding yourself needing to intellectualize it or feeling like you need to have another degree on your wall to prove your wisdom, because you're here to really envelop and really step into a whole nother type of wisdom where we're not really needing degrees on our walls to prove our worth, to prove the knowledge that we have. You're stepping into a new type of knowledge. So keep that in mind. Okay, if you have a Capricorn North Node, you're here to build, to lead, to take responsibility and legacy. Seriously, you are here to start using your mind, to start using logic, as opposed to your South Node, which is Cancer, which is very emotionally driven. So if you have a South Node in Cancer with that North Node in Capricorn, you're learning how to not let your emotions overwhelm you, or being so intuitively driven that you're not taking tangible action. So with that Capricorn North Node, you're moving into tangible action. You're rolling. This is kind of similar to the Virgo Pisces axis, where we're moving beyond just the emotional and this ethereal, and we're stepping into really building something in this 3D world that's tangible, that's lasting. It's a legacy that you're meant to build. So remember that. When you look and you're having these dreams and you're seeing yourself and these visions of yourself where you have built something that is lasting, and if that scares you, great, you're doing it right. That's what you're meant to step into. Your North Node is meant to be scary. It is meant to be like, oof, I don't know if I can do that. But your soul chose that North Node for a reason, because it is wanting, begging to evolve and learn and grow through this transition of that South Node energy into that North Node energy. Now moving on to Aquarius, you are here to innovate, to rebel, to connect the collective good. So again, you're here to really connect to what is good for the collective, what is going to bring the collective to higher levels of consciousness. And with that South Node, you're all about you, boo. You have to move beyond it being about you and your shine and your gravitas that you have so innately a part of you. Being the main character of your own life is easy for you. You shine in being the main character of your life. What's cool is when we take the gifts of our South Node and we combine those with our soul's evolutionary growth, that's magic. That's alchemy. Because if you have a South Node in Leo, you know how to be the main character. You know how to bring light and shine to something, especially yourself and what you're building. So if you can combine that with that North Node Aquarius energy where you can now bring attention to an innovation, you can rebel, you connect to the greater collective good, you can use that light and that shine that you have so naturally to bring awareness to what you're building and what you're innovating. So this can be a really cool thing when we combine these things and we alchemize. And that is the work. That is the work of taking our South Node gifts and using them to step in and leap into our North Node. So kind of go back to the polarities that I've mentioned through all of these connections and see how that plays out. Now let's move into the last one, last but definitely not least, is if you have a North Node in Pisces, you are meant to surrender. You are here to learn how to trust the unseen, how to express through art and spirit, and really step into a deep trust and connection to the divine, where your Virgo North Node is going to freak out because it trusts stability. It trusts these are the actions that I need to do. This is my list. These are the line items I need to complete to do what I need to do. The North Node is calling you to leave behind that attention to detail. It's telling you to trust a different part of yourself, not the knowledge, not the intellect that you have, but this deep knowing of the divine, of trusting and surrendering and leaping into the intuitive side of yourself. But what's cool is when, again, we alchemize, we can take that Virgo energy that you came in so inherently knowing, that deep analytical mind that maps and plans, and now you can move that into that North Node of Pisces and use that to step into your spiritual gifts. So if you are here to be you step into that intuitive soul healing, is beautiful dreamer, you now have the tangible tools to use those dreams and make them a reality. So that is alchemy. We combine, we create, we build beautiful things when we tap into these North and South nodes. They are pure magic. And that's one of the most beautiful things I like to do is when I work with clients, we dive into this and we learn and we step into like, okay, let's look at your soul's gifts. What was your South Node? How are they showing up for you in this lifetime? How do you see those things playing out for you? Okay, here's your North Node. What's showing up for you so far on your North Node path? Okay, let's use those South Node gifts to really use them as this launching pad into stepping fully into that North Node. So fun. This is magic. This is alchemy. This is what I'm here for, my friends. What scares you just enough to make you curious about what's possible? Think about that, friends. Okay, now we're going to go into the houses. Again, it's going to be this duality of leaving behind this version and stepping into this version. And there's this duality of opposite sides of this axis as your North and South Node. So if you're in the first house, your North Node's in that first house, it's about selfhood, identity, courage to be seen. Again, a lot of those Aries themes here of like, it's about you, boo. And you're moving away from the 7th house, which is about partnerships and the we. And then moving on to, if you have that North Node in your 2nd house, you are here to build self-worth, money, values, and stability for yourself. Again, moving beyond the 8th house, which is about other people's assets. It's about other things. It's about, alchemy and deep transformation. And so those things come naturally. You are here to move beyond the spiritual and into the physical realm of building real, actual money in a bank, even besides just that, alchemy of deep transformation of that 8th house. And 8th house is, again, other people's money, other people's resources, and moving into you are the resource. You are the one who's building, not relying on others. 2nd and 8th house. Okay, now 3rd house. This is Gemini energy here. We're speaking up, we're teaching, we're learning, we're storytelling, we're taking what we know and we're sharing it, we're voicing it, we're getting it out there. The other side of that is that 9th house, which is that ancient wisdom. It's publishing. It is more that etherical ancient wisdom. So again, the story here is really transmuting what you brought in from other worlds, other past lives, and really using it to teach and to transform through communication with that 3rd house. And the 4th house is about healing roots, emotional intimacy, and home life. So for you, if you have the North Node in the 4th house, you are here to step into more home, more building family, where it's super important for you. Home is not going to be as comfortable as work. For you, work is easy. Work and building legacy, that's where you shine. So for you to have to move towards home is actually what's most important. Family is what's most important. That's the shift there. Finding balance between the two, using your gifts of building legacy to support the family and putting emphasis on building your family. So see how these axes work together and they alchemize and we grow through this transitory story throughout our lifetime. So if you have the 5th house, it is all about joy and expression and really playful energy. The opposite side of that would be the 11th house. It's all about community and social change and vision. So again, it's this concentration on myself and play and fun versus let's build something for the collective. Let's work on building big visions that affect everyone. See how those are different, but it's that soul's evolution. So if you have your North Node in the fifth house, joy, creativity, self-expression, and children are going to be things that are like, oh, I don't know, joy's hard for me. I'd rather work to help the collective. I'd rather be this self-serving, not self-serving, martyrism, where you're putting others above yourself, where you're really here to step into it being about yourself, about building out joy and creativity and expressing your inner world, not necessarily things that are on that collective level. Okay, now moving into the sixth house. This is very tangible. And this is where we do our daily routines, our health, our daily appearances, it's service, it's health, it's daily discipline, it's learning mastery and moving into that. So those are things that are going to feel uncomfy for you. Moving into a daily routine and having daily discipline is magic for you. You are going to have so much soul growth when you master a routine that serves you. The 12th house, which is all about floating and like, I'm just going to be intuitively led and I'm not actually going to put anything in the paper. I'm just going to like float through life. That's natural for you. You like to flow with life. That's easy for you. The daily routine and discipline is going to feel like, oof, I can't do that. That's really hard. But the more you step into that, the more you thrive and the more you'll really start to take big moves into creating for yourself and really stepping into your soul's mission. So keep that in mind. Seventh house this is the North Node in seventh house. So relationships and learning through others and commitment are going to be a little bit trickier for you. But that is, again, where you are going to learn the most. You are going to learn the most through relationships, through partnerships. For you, being a solo lone wolf is easier for you. It is going to be something that's easy peasy, lemon squeezy, right? Because that is natural for you. Those relationships, a little less so. So again, learning that even though I can be really empowering in my own energy and that's where I shine, I can bring that to a group environment. I can bring that to partnerships and I can use that to grow. All right, so again, eighth house, if you have your North Node in the eighth house, you are here to move towards depth, intimacy, shadow work, and shared resources. Remember, the second house, you probably have a natural ability for bringing in wealth, or you just have this natural gift for navigating the material plane. It's just easy for you. And you are moving into, it's not about money. It's about shared resources and deep transformation. I'm not saying that you have to like give up wealth and stop stacking cash, because 100% I am here for the money. When really good-hearted people have lots and lots of money, that's when this whole thing turns around. So embrace your ability for making money. Be super proud about your ability of making money and be as rich as you can be, but learn through transformation and alchemy how to do that and transform and help others and really work on your ability to have intimate depth in your relationships and using your races to share and help others. Okay, now moving on, if you have the North Node in the ninth house, you are here for expanding truth. You are here for belief systems. And you're here for a bigger perspective, more of that ancient wisdom, more of that expansion of mind into other realms. Because the third house, which would be the opposite side of the coin, is really that tangible wisdom. So you came in here knowing how to use a spreadsheet. You came in here knowing how to master and having a quick mind. And you are here to go beyond just the mind space and moving into that connection to another kind of knowledge and expanding and growing into, again, not having to have degrees on your walls. See how these things match? And we'll get to how we combine these even more. So if you have your North Node in the 10th house, you are here for career. You are here for visibility. You are here for impact and legacy. You are here to build something that's very visible, that people see. You're here for a very public persona, and that's going to feel really uncomfortable for you. Yes, this is so uncomfortable for me. But the more that I put myself out there, the more that I trust that I'm meant to build something that's lasting, that I'm here to build a deep legacy, the more I am supported in my work and the more things and opportunities and As a projector, more invitations flow when I am in this energy. For me, the fourth house, home and family, and hanging out with my kids and being mom is the easiest job in the world for me. It is where I thrive. Not to toot my own horn, but I'm a dang good mom. It just comes easily to me. It always has. But for me, building a business, not so much so. I've always had an eye for business, and I love, and I always seen myself building something. But I often sacrifice building to hide out with my family and putting my family first. So I've had to learn that I can be a big part of my family and be the mom that I want to be, but also build an exciting brand. And for me, finding that balance between the two. Okay, now moving on to the 11th house, it's all about community. And if you have that North Node, community, social change, visions for the future is what you're moving into. You're moving away from play and fun and creativity and self-expression and children and being in this fun, playful energy. You are here to build something that has a huge impact on the collective and thinking and innovating something that is going to create shifts and changes for the world around, especially as we step into these higher energies and these higher collective up levelings that we are all feeling as we move through these pretty big astrological transits and planetary moves that are pushing us to get outside our comfort zone. So those are the things that you're moving into. Now, if you have your North Node in the 12th house, this is all about surrender, solitude, spirituality, and transcendence. So you are moving into higher realms and really stepping away from being really rooted in the human experience and being very human. You're here to be more in your spiritual self and less in that physical humanness of you. And what's great is, like I said, it's alchemy. It's using that humanity and the love of human experience to step into surrender and combining these two and alchemizing. It's exciting work. So these are things that we see as we move towards these new versions of ourselves. What do we need to leave behind and what do we need to step into? Okay, how do we work with your North Node? I want you to think about this. What is one brave step that I can take to step into this energy that feels uncomfy, that feels like it's not a part of you, but you know deep in your soul? That's what's interesting about these North Nodes. When I'm working with anybody, they have this like little glimmer of the version of themselves that owns that North Node. It might feel uncomfortable. It might feel really far away, but it's there. And what is one brave step that you can take to inch towards that? And I want to say that this is a soul's evolution. And the older that we get, and I'm not going to lie, I love working with women and men who are in their late 30s, early 40s, even to your 50s and 60s, because this becomes even more apparent the older we get. The older we get, we have this expansion where our souls, there's something that happens within the ages of 35 to 42 that puts us even more firmly on our soul's path and unlocks that North Node even more so, where it's like you're doing it on time. So if you're listening to this and you're in your early 20s, even in your teens, you feel it, but there's this pressure that comes the older that we get. And the calling becomes even more intense the older that we get. So it's fun to look at these things when we're younger and see that as our soul's evolution. But there's this intensity that comes again as we get older. So keep that in mind. If you're in your 40s and your 50s and 60s and beyond, you're going to feel the pressure even more so to be owning that North Node. Spoken as a woman who's going to be 46 next month. Actually, at the time this is released, I will be 46. So that North Node, I feel the pressure, and it's so fun that I do because it means that I'm doing it right and I'm on time and I'm stepping into it. Here I am publishing a podcast all by myself, and I'm owning the voice that I have and the mission of building a legacy of really helping people step into their highest versions of themselves. So I'm excited. I'm here for it. Okay. Going back to what do we do with this North Node? So ask yourself, where am I resisting growth because it feels unfamiliar? Great question. Another question I want you to really ponder is, What would my future self thank me for doing today? That's a fantastic question to start your day with, whether you're 5 or 99. Really, like, what is something that my future self would thank me for? That's a great way to start any day. Okay, so south node, embracing that south node and really using it again as alchemy into that north node. So acknowledge the gifts that, but don't over identify them. What are the gifts that you have with that south node that are going to help you to step further into your north node? My south node's in Pisces in the fourth house. So I have that home and that family and that really intuitiveness about me. When I lean into the intuitiveness, I see how things are going to be. I see how spirit wants to move me. And then I use those gifts of seeingness and having that really strong intuition. And then I'm able to use the gifts or what I'm moving into that north node in Virgo and in that 10th house to anchor it in and to build. So I'm not discounting what I have. I'm owning those gifts, those soul gifts that are just easy for me. And I'm using those to be the launching pad into my north node and to help me grow into my north node. See how that can work for you? It's a magic. I just snaps if you didn't hear it in the recording. You'll see it on YouTube. Okay. So gratitude for those gifts, but without clinging to them, not staying in that south node, because again, that is the comfort zone. That is where we hide. That's where we play small, is in that south node because it's easy. We don't have to work for it. It's just there. It's like just going into that comfort, back to the comfort of the cocoon. But do we grow when we're wrapped in the cocoon? No, we don't. When we break out and we start flying, our wings are going to be a little rough at first. It takes a minute. And the more we step into owning our growth, the more we fly, the more we develop, and we are able to really go. And that is the journey of the North Node expression. So these are really beautiful things that you can do. If you're listening to this, DM me and tell me your North Node and the house, the sign in the house that it's in, and I'll give you one brave step that you can do. Just for funsies. Okay. So let's move into some rituals and integration practices that will really help you anchor this in. So again, what a journaling prompt here is, what small act of courage can I take towards my North Node? Really start anchoring this into that daily practice. This becomes a ritual. How does it feel when I imagine living in that energy? So a ritual here, that could be a journaling prompt, or it could be a meditation where you imagine yourself, call on your higher self, sit with your higher self, and have it show you what that looks like when you're in that higher version of yourself. That's one of my favorite practices to do with my clients, is have them meditate and meet their higher self and ask for guidance and wisdom. And that would be a beautiful practice, to sit with your higher self and have them show you what it looks like when you're living in that highest version of yourself. I invite you guys to create a North Node altar or a visual anchor of the growth that you're meant to be. So maybe that's a vision board with really some beautiful images of moving into your North Node. Maybe you find some little items at, when you're walking in the woods, or things that just really have meaning to you. If you're new to spirituality and the word altar freaks you out, it can just be some things that are in your visual world that you look to that are a significance of something that means something to you, that is helping guide you. It doesn't have to be this whole thing. It just means having things in your visual spaces that anchor you in and help remind you. So for me, I have this cute little rubber ducky that, if you listen to my dad's episode with his passing, he won this car from a rubber duck race in Idaho Falls. He bought one ticket and he got a car. And I have the duck that won the car for him. And I have that in my office. And I do see that as an altar to the connection to my father, but also connection to luck and abundance and opportunities are around us. Miracles can happen. My dad needed a car and he paid money for one ticket, and a miracle happened and he got that car. Luck was on his side. And that for me is that reminder. So it's not like on this fancy altar. It's just in my office. If you're on YouTube, you might even see it sitting on my shelf there. But that's the altar. It's that altar of connection to my dad, and an altar and a reminder that luck is always on my side and miracles can always happen. That's how easy an altar can be. So when you hear, oh, create an altar to your North Node, it can just be like, okay, I'm a Virgo and my Virgo North Node, so it's building something of value. It's building, structure, or routine. So maybe it's your altar is that daily looking to mapping out your day and having baby steps that put you towards your goals of having structure and routine. And that is how you're stepping into your North Node. So for me, a planner and having a moment with my planner where I'm really adding structure to my days is a nod that I'm stepping into that North Node. It can be as simple as that. So don't overthink it. Don't think you have to have this elaborate like flowers and crystals and all things. I'm not going to say don't use crystals because I do enjoy using crystals as well, but don't overthink it. It can be simple. It's just a visual representation of what you're wanting to create for yourself. So those are some ideas for you. You didn't come here to repeat the past. You came here to rise. Next week, we're going to go all in on Leo energy. Till then, much love.